my loves. I intend you guys are doing well. It's Saturday morning and I am pretty relaxed today. Okay, so you want like hacks and tips and tricks to get your desire, and you've been affirming for quite a while now and you're not getting your stuff, and you need tips which actually convince your logical mind, like practical tips and tricks, which convince your logical mind that you are going to get your desire, or you're already the person who has the desire, right? Okay, now you want practical tips, okay? And when you ask me for stuff like that, like, okay, what do I do, that is precisely because your ego has trapped you into an identity where you feel that firstly you have to believe that the manifestation will come, it's guaranteed, and then you start doing the work. You want the guarantee from the coach first. Like, people come up to me and they say like, can I get this? Like, how much time do you think this is going to take? They want a guarantee, as if you're buying a product, and then you're like, okay, so now that I'm convinced, now I'll start doing the work, the techniques, or whatever it is, okay? Or maybe just simply deciding and assuming that you are the person right now. So basically what you are looking for is the guarantee that it works, which I'm going to give it to you today, and that manifestation works. And then once you are convinced that it works, you may still just put in some kind of awareness on who you are being and try and see if it is really getting you your manifestation. And if it is not, then you will go from channel to channel and write like, it's not working, it does not work, manifesting is not real. And I'm going to prove it to you today that it is the only thing that is running your life and living and existence on this planet Earth. Because you guys need guarantees. You're not ready to change your identities before the guarantee is given to you that okay, trust me, this works, now you can start affirming. You guys want guarantees, and it's not just from me. I have spoken to other coaches and they kind of seem to say the same thing, okay? So now, when you say like, I have been affirming for quite a while now and I do not really have it yet. Okay, let me say something before that. You not understanding manifestation is not an issue, but you doubting it just because you do not have a clear understanding of it or an in-depth understanding of it is a concern, because it affects your life, not a concern for me or anyone else, right? So be very mindful and absorbent, and even after this, if you do not believe that manifesting works, it is still okay. However, you do not get to demotivate anybody under my videos, because I'll block you, okay, with all my love and respect for you. So if you still believe it does not work, then that is your assumption and it's not going to work for you. Because, okay, now let me just come to the point and you'll know why I said this, because, okay, the because will be completed when I start speaking. Okay, so you have been affirming, okay, and but nothing changed. The person is still treating you disrespectfully. You still do not have the money. You are still struggling with your grades. You're still struggling with your health, maybe. And then you say, like, I have been affirming, but manifesting does not work. Now, please get this very straight. You are not manifesting everything that you want or wish for. You are manifesting the dominant story that you have around it. You might want something, but if your dominant story around that area of your life is not in sync with what you want to experience, you will not manifest it. For example, you are affirming something and you're constantly saying it is not here yet. You are not affirming to change the 3D. You are affirming because it is already who you have become, because your manifestation has come true. For the ones at the back who feel manifesting is not real, and you vent out your frustration under every video, do yourself a favor. Sit with yourself, and the area that you are struggling with, or you are assuming that you're struggling with, because even the struggle is an illusion. I'll come to that. Write down the story that you have around that aspect of your life. Write it down. What is this story? And then you will come up with, I have the perfect story. I have been doing it diligently and still 3D did not show it to me. Trust me, that is not possible. Why? Because your 3D has to mirror back your identity to you. Your 3D has to reflect back the identity that you have chosen. So, clearly, you are doing something wrong and the story needs to be fine-tuned, changed. For any kind of one-on-one assistance, if you are struggling to understand what the blind spots are, get in touch with me for a one-on-one session. I do not answer random questions. Also, because that does not help you, because sometimes an in-depth analysis is required on your state. That's all. So, the point being, just because you are believing something right now, like, for example, SP is not listening to me, SP is behaving this way, that does not necessarily imply that that should be your truth for the rest of your life, unless you are constantly, repetitively putting your awareness on that version of your SP. You are choosing an identity, and the most important point of this video, you are choosing this identity irrespective of what your current 3D is. And then you're deciding on it. You are deciding on it. When you have chosen that identity, there's no going back. Then that's not called a decision. If you retreat each time you are triggered by the 3D, that's not called a decision. And yes, manifesting is not, conscious manifesting is not for the faint-hearted and people who are constantly wavering with regard to the 3D. That's weakness. You came here to live the life that you want to live. I understand that there has been, the fear, the conditioning, the doubts. You were not born with them. No, you weren't. We were trained to be doubtful. We were trained with fears. That's a conditioning. That's not you. And you got to understand that before you manifest anything. I mean anything. Your marriage, your money, your grades, your looks, anything. You have to understand that doubts and fears were actually injected in you after you were born. You were not born with them. And if you are subscribing to some ideology which says that yes, you were born with them, I suggest, that's my opinion, take it or leave it, that you click off, because anything that limits you will be detrimental for you. Now, so you choose that identity, right? And you are like, okay, this is who I am. And that is who you will have to practice being by thinking like her, by walking like her, by thinking like him, by walking like him, by talking like him, by acting as if you are that person. Anyone saying that acting as if does not work needs to have a better understanding of the law. Because when I ask you, who do you want to be? So you have an answer to that, right? You have an answer to that. Like, okay, this is who I want to be. Now start being that person. You are that person right now. Your logical mind is getting so much access to you because you have taken all the fears and doubts that have been programmed in your growing years by the society, by your people. You've taken them so seriously that now your logical mind has taken a toll on you, and you feel that, no, I'm not logically convinced that manifesting is working. It is completely working. You know why? Because your story is actually getting reflected back at you over and over again. That's manifestation for you. Whoever you choose to be, you will become. Whoever you choose to identify as, people will reflect that back to you. So suppose you feel loved and you say like, yeah, I am so loved. For example, okay, let me put it the other way. You say like, I don't know, whether he is going to come. I don't know. He's not ready yet, and he can't take a stand for us, and he is doing this and he is doing that. He is mirroring that back to you exactly, right? Right? Now, suppose you start saying the opposite. Now you'll come up with, but I don't believe it. Honestly speaking, you train yourself to believe something. The beliefs that you think you have since you were a child were also trained inside you. Your mom said something, your dad said something, your sibling said something, the society said something, and you created those beliefs unconsciously, unknowingly rather. So, the good news is you can change your beliefs. A belief is created through repetition. My favorite word, and should be yours as well. So, the point being, I'm not angry at you. I'm just trying to make you understand something very clearly. That when you say manifesting is not working for me, it's always a yes. When you say it's not working for you, it's a yes. When you say it's always working for me, it's a yes. it is always a yes. Why? Because whenever you say something, you're choosing it or you're saying it from an identity. Now, this is really deep and nuanced and simple. However, not everything that is simple is always easy to apply. Why? Because there has been years of conditioning which you are really struggling to unlearn now. Right? Which implies that when I say or when I title my thumbnail as manifesting an SP, it is definitely not just about the SP manifestation. When I speak way beyond that. I tread avenues which will help you get a better understanding of how your identity is constantly determining your experience in the 3D. So when you are in a fear and when you tell me like, okay, I should be respecting myself, I should be loving myself, but should I let go of that SP because SP was disrespecting me? Why were you allowing disrespect to begin with? Like, why? You know what? I'll tell you. Because you're in fear. What if you lose out on that man? What if you lose out on that woman? However, I have a question. Have you found yourself? Do you know who you are being when you are chasing so much? Because the most unattractive thing you can do is chasing. The maximum disrespect that you can give to yourself is when you chase. And why do you assume somebody will like you in that energy? Manifesting is completely about energy shifting. It's about identity shifting. So whoever you want to be right now, be that person right now. And if that's becoming a lot of struggle for you, say like, I'm gradually becoming that person. And you'll become that person. That's law. And 3D will reflect it back to you. That is law. That's law. And I refuse to believe that you are beyond the law. If you believe love can happen to you, love will happen to you. If you believe you're deserving of it, you'll get it. Most of the times I see that most of you feel that you're doing something wrong and that's why you don't deserve it. That's an identity problem. That's an identity problem. That's not a problem with the SP. No. Most of the times I see that you already believe that you do not deserve it. And yes, if you feel that you do not deserve it, you will not manifest it. That's a given. So what is my point of talking so much today? My point is, manifesting is real. And if you have been manifesting and have not seen results in the area that you wanted to, because we are all manifesting different things, right? That is because the story is not in alignment with the identity that you choose to embody. Choose to embody, not you are in embodiment. The story will determine the embodiment. The affirmations, the thoughts will determine who you become. That will need repetition. You cannot convince yourself of an identity without repetition. No. If you have been functioning from a space of victim consciousness and you were chasing something or someone, in order to get back into the embodiment of the person who has it all, you will have to remind yourself that you have it all and you are now that person. And that will need discipline and repetition before you actually become that person dominantly. And that old man will gradually be dead, will fade out. But for that, discipline, irrespective of the 3D circumstance, is a must. Now there are 10 million ways to manifest. Some people like affirming, some do not like affirming, they decide. However, even if you are not affirming a few sentences, that even then you are sticking to that decision, which means you are thinking right, which means you are affirming right. So affirming right means you are thinking correctly. Your awareness is where it should be, because awareness is everything, what you are putting your focus on. You will not win this by effort. You will win this by a decision to change your identity to the one who you want to be. It's not about constantly affirming and feeling drained out. No. Years ago, I posted a video and I still stand by it. Do not start affirming before you decide who you want to be. From this moment on, for the rest of your life, in that aspect of your life. First, decide. The moment you decide, you shift timelines. You've shifted. If it's a radical, strong decision, like this is who I am, that is it. I don't give a damn about the 3D, this is who I choose to become. Or this is who I have become. And then you start thinking from her perspective. That's how you manifest a shift in the 3D. That is how you manifest a shift in the 3D. Because you are shifting. Because you have shifted. So when you come up and say manifesting does not work, you are completely right. Because when you believe that it does not work, it will not work. Because manifesting is real. And so is how much you are repeating that it is not real for you. So everything is repetition. So if you're repeating that it does not work for you, the law does not have a choice. The law has to prove you right. So when you want logical tips and tricks and practical tips and tricks on how manifesting, how to believe, and how to kind of ensure that you get your stuff, the most practical thing that you can do is sit with yourself and see the story that you have been looping over and over again, unconsciously, unknowingly, and then saying that, oh, it's not working. That's the most practical way to go about it. There is a problem, there is a glitch, there is something in the story which is making you doubt it. Doubt and fear is not your true nature. Your true nature is peace, love, joy, success, bliss, peace. So just throw it in the trash, the programming of doubt and fear. The entire world can program you with fear and doubt. But once you decide, like, no, this does not define me anymore. It's done. You've shifted a timeline. So when you decide and you shift a timeline, why do you go back to that old timeline? Why? Do you get something out of that? Not really. Apart from misery, frustration, and why is it not working moments? Not really. So when you decide, you've shifted a timeline. Start working like him or her. Start acting like him or her. Like, this is who I am. That is it. That is it. That is it. This is what I'm getting. You declare. It's not meek. You declare. This is who I am. This is what I am manifesting. This is what my reality is going to look like. If it is not that already, you declare. You do not meekly and, utter them in just feeble sentences, in a very feeble voice, like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm married. No, I am blissfully and happily married to my SP. My SP is crazily in love with me. I always believed in love and I manifested my fairy tale relationship. That is how you affirm. I'm living my happily ever after. I was born to be happy. I was born lucky, and that is precisely why everything works in my favor. This is how you affirm. You declare it, you decree it, you claim it. You do not say like, yeah, okay, yes, he loves me. Yes, she loves me. And then you doubt it. No. No. You declare it. You declare that you are someone who was born, destined to live a happily ever after life, who has it all. You declare it. This is not for the weak-hearted. This is not for the faint-hearted who will be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I think it's working. And then, it's working in some areas, but it's not working in the other areas. No, then fine-tune the story. If you need help, get assistance. One-on-one assistance. Yeah? So it is not about being feeble. It's not about being weak. It's not about trying a few things for a few months and then seeing if it works. No. You have to go all in. This is it. This is who I am. That's it. I was born to live a happily ever after. And that's what I'm living from this moment on. Yeah? Makes sense? Or makes sense? So, yeah, stop doubting. Doubt was injected in you. You were trained to doubt. So, the good news is you can untrain yourself, if that is a word. And you do not have to untrain yourself. You just have to train yourself to believe. Because even if you're doubting, you're keeping the faith in doubting. So why not keep the faith in who you have become? The new version, I mean. Okay, not the victim consciousness one. Not the one in victim consciousness. Not the one in victim mode. So manifesting does not work? Yes. Manifesting works? Yes. Because this is the law of assumption. Whatever you assume will be manifested. Right? Not whatever you want. Whatever you assume will manifest. Some of my clients and viewers, they just manifest things because they just believe that if I'm saying something, that's true. And they believe it. Because it's not logical. That's precisely why I say when I ask you to do something, just shut down your logical mind and do it. Just because I'm saying it. You just tell your mind that this is going to work because she's saying it. That's it. This is not logical. This is a law. This is a law. If you become an identity, your 3D has to reflect it back to you. Your SP has to reflect it back to you. Your money has to reflect it back to you. Your health has to reflect it back to you. Because you've chosen the identity. And you're returning to that identity over and over again. So if you're returning to the identity of no, it does not work, you will get evidence of that as well. Fun, right? It's really fun. Try it. Try it. Go all in and decide that this is who I am. I don't give a damn. I enjoy being this person. I enjoy being this version of myself. This is who I am, and this is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life, and this is who I'm going to practice being for the rest of my life. Not really. You would not need so much time. If you do it correctly, it really does not take that much time. And you repeat your identity over and over again, and you'll start seeing evidence of it coming back to you, And then you'll be like, yeah, it's working, because it has to work, because your entire reality is being designed by your dominant identity in that area. So some people come up to me and say like, yeah, I am doing very well in my work area, I'm doing very well in this and that, but only with SP. Because your story around your SP needs to be fine-tuned. The other stories are perfect. Right? So you have stories around every area of your life. If the dominant story is not in alignment, if the dominant identity is not in alignment with who you want to be or what you want to experience, then you will identify as somebody who's struggling. So that dominant story has to be changed if you are uncomfortable there. So if you're uncomfortable and you feel like, oh, I do not feel rich, I do not feel wealthy, there is a reason, there is a story around it that needs to be fine-tuned. That's it. It's that simple. Yes, not always that easy. That's precisely why you need to kind of sit with yourself and understand what the story is like so that you can change it. However, it's really not that difficult either. Once you understand what I am talking about. Whether you say it works and if you say it does not work. In both the statements, you are correct. That's it. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Yes, thank you so much for watching. And yeah. And because you guys want me to make a subliminal on the old SP is back, I'll make it for you with all my heart and love for you. But you will still have to be focused on the identity that you are embodying over and over and over again, and then blaming manifestation for not working. It is a law, and you're not beyond the law, and it is completely working for you. Trust me, it is. Okay. Thank you so much. Take care.